Last week, I spoke about anger, about how anger saved me. After I recalled that episode, I sat quietly for a while. I keep asking myself, what was underneath that anger? What was it responding to? Because anger never appears alone. It rises when something has been building for some time. As I trace it back, honestly, one word keeps surfacing: transparency. Not honesty, but transparency. So today, I want to stay there with you for a bit more longer. Not in a confrontational way, just slowly, thoughtfully. Because I have come to see that many of the fractures we experience in relationship, it doesn't really begin with betrayal. They begin with subtle distance, with things unspoken, with realities that are not fully shared. I have been wondering, what does it really mean to walk in the same light as someone? So this word, transparency, it sounds simple, does it? It is a word that feels clean when we say it. Clear, almost obvious. And yet, I'm not sure we always mean the same thing when we use it. I used to think transparency and honesty were basically the same. If someone wasn't lying, if someone answered truthfully when I asked a question, I thought that was enough. But now I'm not so sure. I have been turning this over quietly while working outside in the garden, while feeding the animals and walking through in the late afternoon when everything is softer. Honesty feels like telling the truth when it is requested, while transparency feels like something more vulnerable. It feels like opening the door before someone even has to knock. It feels like saying, "This is what's happening inside me," even if no one has asked yet. And that is a very different thing. I think transparency requires a kind of courage that honesty doesn't always demand. Because honesty can stay within the frame of safety. You ask me something, I answer. While transparency steps forward on its own. It says, "I have been thinking about this. I have been feeling this. There is something moving inside me and I don't want to carry it alone." because that can feel risky. Because once you place something in the open, it cannot be managed in the same way anymore. It becomes shared. It becomes real between two people. So living here in this life, I have learned how much light matters. If I store potatoes in the wrong place, when moisture gathers quietly behind wood, when air doesn't circulate, things change slowly. Sometimes you don't see it at first, but you feel it. Something becomes heavier. And I think relationships are similar. It is not always dramatic betrayal that shifts something. Sometimes it is the quiet withholding, the things that are technically not a lie, but also not fully shared. But your body knows. I remember moments in my last relationship when I felt something was missing from the room. There wasn't a specific fact, more like a layer, a feeling. Conversations that skimmed the surface. Questions that dissolved before they fully formed. A sense that there were more happening internally than what was being spoken aloud. I didn't know how to articulate that then. I just felt slightly outside the full picture. The feeling is very subtle, but it matters. It is there. Because when two people are building something together, shared reality becomes everything. If one person holds pieces privately that affect the bond, the structure shifts. Maybe not loudly, maybe not immediately, but sure, steadily. I have been asking myself, what is it I really needed? It wasn't about perfection. It wasn't even about constant reassurance. And certainly it wasn't about control. It was openness. It was the feeling that I was standing in the same light as the other person. That nothing important was happening, hiding in the shadows. So transparency to me now feels like that shared light. Maybe it is hard to explain. It is not even about confessing every passing thought. We all deserved our inner space. We all need time to process. But when something begins to shape the emotional field between two people, doubts, attractions, fears, confusions, or distance, that feels different. That feels like it belongs in the open. Not because I demanded, but because the relationship deserves it. So I have been wondering, how many of us were taught to protect ourselves by editing ourselves, to keep certain thoughts private, to avoid conflict, to delay conversations until we are sure how they will land, or to manage how we are perceived. Sure, there is certain safety in that. Yet, intimacy doesn't grow there. Intimacy grows where someone says, "This might be uncomfortable, but I want you to know there is something deeply calming about being with someone who offers that." It creates a different nervous system experience. You relax. You don't have to scan, and you don't have to guess. We are walking together in the same field. I think that was what I was longing for in my last relationship. Not constant analysis, not emotional intensity, but shared reality. Transparency feels like trust in action. It says, "I trust you with the unfinished parts of me. I trust you with what I am still figuring out. I trust that this connection can hold what is true." Of course, that only works if the other person can receive it without punishment. Because transparency needs safety. It needs maturity. It needs two people willing to sit with discomfort without collapsing. I'm still learning this, still refining what it means in my own life. But I know now that absence of lying is not the same as presence of openness. I know how different it feels to be in a space where nothing essential is being quietly managed. Maybe this is something you are thinking about too. Maybe you have felt that slight distance and couldn't name it. Maybe you have been the one holding things inside, thinking it was protection. I don't have a formula here. It is my reflection. If we are building something with someone, what would it feel like to walk fully in the same light? What would it change if we allow ourselves to be known before being asked? And what would it require from us to receive that kind of openness from another person? I am sitting with these questions. Maybe we can sit with them together. From my heart to yours, Genevieve.